A new Star Wars movie was just announced, but the stars of the sequel trilogy are pouncing. They're angry, they're furious, they're burning down bridges with the fans. So what in the world is going on? Well, folks, what if we told you that the Sean Levy, Ryan Gosling Star Wars Starfighter movie is seen as an affront to those who believed in Kathleen Kennedy and what Lucasfilm was up to with the sequel trilogy? Today, we'll explain why sabotage, yes, really, sabotage, may be afoot.
This is a Star Wars movie we're making this fall.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Pro Channel, and happy Good Friday, happy Easter weekend, and to our Jewish friends as well. We were remiss, I did not get a chance to say that we hope that you had a blessed Passover, but we will say so today. Folks, it's not blessed with Star Wars, I can tell you that. Even though they've put out a new announcement for a movie, they are under attack. Kathleen Kennedy is now under the ire of those she has thrown under the tires of the bus because they are dropping the sequel trilogy. Kevin Apollo has joined us, and Kevin, it is such a pleasure and an honor to have you, sir.
Yeah, always fun to be here, and wow, a new Star Wars movie. Does that mean it's that time of year already?
Yeah, well, you know, as one comes in, one usually goes out. And that's about what we're going to talk about today. Folks, there's a new Star Wars announcement, and we're not being negative about it. We're not here to rain on its parade, because they are giving what we think they should be doing. It's just maybe a decade too late. We'll talk about it. The Hollywood Reporter has this. It says, Sean Levy announces his Star Wars movie will go into production this fall at Star Wars Celebration Japan. Now, no, they're not going to put it in production at Japan or in Japan. No. And we're waiting to find out, where is this going into production? Because if it goes to the UK, well, we will find out how much this thing's going to cost. And they really don't like it when we find that out. The UK requires them to report that as part of their tax reductions. If they choose to do it in California, they get shielded, and then nobody knows how much it's costing. It says the film will release in May of 2027. So we've heard this before, Kevin. This is what they've done with the Rey movie. They marched Daisy Ridley out. So why are we to think that Sean Levy and Ryan Gosling, who will star in this, won't have the same experience? Folks, hang tight. We'll tell you the answer after this.
And it was a great process, but I wanted to tell you today, this is no longer a Star Wars movie in development. This is a Star Wars movie we're making this fall. We start shooting.
So there you go. And we've got, boy, oh boy, we've got the Star Wars leadership over there, Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy, but they're looking more like furniture, Kevin, because they're not really part of this. They're just passive observers of it. Kevin, let me go to you. Before we get into the real attacks that are coming at Lucasfilm that nobody knows about really, but you and I are going to explain it. Your thoughts on this new movie being announced, Starfighter, starring Ryan Gosling and Sean Levy directing, not a single girl boss, trope, or actress found on the stage. What do you think?
I think it's about time / it's long overdue, to the point that I'm afraid that it might be too little too late. You know, if we were not going to touch on the Jedi, we should have been focusing on the X-Wing pilots or whoever else is, flying around up there. We should have been seeing these adventures. It should have been high stakes, but with minimal impact on the overall lore, so that you had the freedom to tell these big fun stories. Lucasfilm, I'm worried that they waited a little too long, and I don't think Ryan Gosling's star power will be enough to get them to where they're hoping it's going to go. But I also, at the same time, am hoping I'm wrong, because I like Ryan Gosling, and I was a big fan of the X-Wing of the Rogue Squadron games. So if you can kind of tap into that element of adventure and fun, I'm all for it. But at the same time, we had what's her name, Patty Jenkins, trot out this whole Rogue Squadron movie with mighty fanfare, and that came and went twice.
Kevin, you're exactly right. And this is why there's a fight. I want everybody to understand, we're going to go in a place here that I don't think anybody else is covering yet, because we believe in giving you the news for tomorrow's headlines. Kevin, you're exactly right. Patty Jenkins had this basic movie concept already. Now it's going to be given to Sean Levy and to Ryan Gosling. Why? Because Lucasfilm is aiming for masculinity. Now, I don't think that they're true believers in any kind of traditional values. I don't believe for a second that Kathleen Kennedy has dropped her desire for what she was trying to do with the sequel trilogy, take on the patriarchy, go with postmodern neo-Marxism, all that. I don't believe she's dropped it at all. However, she needs one win, and she's going to retire at some point. Folks, I don't have to give you any kind of crazy assumption or psychic ability on that. I just know that age is a thing. Now, she is under fire, Kevin.
Yeah.
Lucasfilm is under fire, and not from us this time, but from those they have jilted, from those who have been thrown under the bus. We'll get to this. It's out of Variety. I'm going to read the headline. I'm not going to read the majority of the article because I think it would get us in trouble. So I'm not going to read the majority of the article. I'm going to go to what matters. As I do so, Kevin, and I know that John Boyega just came out recently and attacked Star Wars fans needlessly, right?
Yeah. I sometimes I kind of want to say, was it more this documentary? But the timing of that to me was even suspect. This was just, it was senseless. It was needless. It was senseless. And for a guy who isn't doing much, I don't see what he's hoping to get from it.
So let me connect some dots for some people out there, folks. Don't go anywhere. Hang tight. Let me connect some dots. John Boyega, maybe a week or so before Star Wars Celebration and before the announcement of a movie directed by Sean Levy, starring Ryan Gosling, John Boyega comes out and attacks the fans of Star Wars, burns the bridges. Okay? Days later, now just 2 days before Star Wars Celebration in Japan, Marie Tran comes out and does the same thing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, they've stayed silent for years. Now they're out there attacking fans, and you want me to think that it's not tied to something? That you want me to believe that it's just organic, that these two just decided they're going to hate on fans and promote it all across the trades? What if I ask the question, folks? Where's the Rey movie? And are these two now out of work with Star Wars because it's nowhere to be found? It was already a long shot for them to get in it. But now they're definitely not going to win it because it's not going into production. It's not the next movie. And scheduled just before the announcement of what's really going to be the movie, they come out and start to attack. Variety has the article. It's by Abigail Lee. It says, Marie Tran on how Wedding Banquet empowered her to come out as what you see, and why Star Wars Rossism is a microcosm for the social climate. Now, if you wanted to help Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm, you wouldn't claim that the fans that she needs are Rossist, because that hurts Kathleen Kennedy, and it hurts Lucasfilm, and it hurts Star Wars. That's why they're not doing it anymore, because they realized, oh, wait, we actually need these people that we hate. But Marie Tran is out there doing this. Now, notice, folks, what she's starring in. Rose Tico is starring in Wedding Banquet. Don't miss out on that. We'll come back to it. I'm going to scroll down, and this is a huge article that just goes on and on and on. But here's what we need. It says, speaking of Gladstone's talent, that's her co-star who plays her LGBTQ plus AI plus wife, also nods to both actors' filmographies in clever meta references. In one scene, the four friends have to rid the house of anything Q culture related, which happens to be nearly everything, including books, movies, and their wall decor. One film that's stowed away is Kelly Reichardt's Certain Women, which stars Gladstone. Tran experienced a similar full circle moment when a character brings up Star Wars. I thought it was hilarious, Tran says. That was already in there before I was cast, so when I read it, I kind of laughed. I was like, that's funny, and now I think it's this beautiful little reference. And here's where it gets ugly. A lot has changed for Tran since Star Wars, but as she looks back on her experience with the fandom, she knows that the Rossism she faced was symptomatic of a larger continuing issue. When considering what she wants to see change for actors of color who might not receive the support they need when they appear in major franchises, she replies, the world. She says it's interesting how it seems to be happening pretty consistently to actors of color who find themselves in these spaces, which, I'm sorry, you were hired and paid lots of money. You didn't just suddenly wander into it. And I think these occurrences are a microcosm for the social climate that we're living in. And it's really unfortunate. She points out that people of color are often at the forefront of storytelling. The hope is that people who are not afforded the ability maybe to have access to these communities are able to see through the art that that these kinds of people are also human and they have hopes and dreams. She ties this back into Star Wars, folks, because Star Wars has a fandom that doesn't believe in that, apparently, according to Tran. Now, why would Tran stay silent all this time? Well, Kevin, let's try this one out. If I was in a Star Wars blockbuster movie, and then I was basically cut out from the next film, and then I wanted to have a chance at the Rey movie, get back in there, get big money again. And not only did I not get invited, but the movie's not even looking to go anywhere now. And maybe through Hollywood, I hear, this is speculation on my part, but maybe I hear that a different movie is going to be made. A masculine movie directed by Sean Levy, played the lead actor, Ryan Gosling. I'm Kelly Marie Tran, and I'm stuck in the muck of a wedding Asian queer movie. I might be annoyed. That might not be where my career should be. And I think that both she and John Boyega are emblematic of a much bigger backlash facing Lucasfilm now, because as they leave the sequel trilogy and say no thank you anymore to these people who are associated with it, fury is waiting at the door of Kathleen Kennedy. Kevin, what say you?
Oh, I agree. Listen, she made this big debut in this major tentpole film, and for all intents and purposes, I continue to say, show me the receipts, because I scoured the internet and I didn't see them. Any attack that was lodged at her was really at her character, and it was really just that the character was kind of a waste of time and derailed Finn from the story that we were promised he was going to be on. So there was nothing personal aimed at her. I personally am just really tired of seeing these Hollywood types who use color as a shield, to the mask the fact that, hey, you were in a bad movie. The writing was bad. No one's attacking you personally. You had a bad character with a bad script and a bad movie, and people want to know what happened, how this happened. To conflate that with some kind of racism, it tells me either your self-esteem is so non-existent that we can't handle anything that vaguely resembles criticism in your direction, or it's disingenuous. And she sat silent for years, and I think it's mostly because she hasn't really done anything in years. And I don't think that when you debut in a big major tentpole that you're really looking forward to doing a very small niche film on Asian queerism, that's centered around a wedding. I really think that she was probably hoping she was going to be a much bigger name. It probably stings her a little bit that her peg warmer, her peg warmer action figure had become the poster child for toys that no longer sell. This is something that's just extremely frustrating to me.
And Kevin, it's easier, didn't mean to interrupt, but it's easier for her to blame the entire world than to blame Ryan Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy outright, and the views that she may share that destroyed her opportunities.
Yeah.
It's a much easier thing to just blame the faceless crowd. But here's the problem, Kevin. Here's the problem. She's saying that, they're saying, Variety, one of the trade magazines, that should not be doing this if they want to save Hollywood. They're out there claiming that this is a sign that Star Wars fans are racist. But at the same time, Kevin, I'm here to tell you, Star Wars fans are Marvel fans, are DC fans, are X-Men fans, I can keep going. These fandoms don't have clear lines. You're not like in a camp. You're not siloed. Like the same people who love Star Wars are the same people who love Marvels, or the same people who love DC. You can keep going. Kevin, what do people want right now more than anything when it comes to Marvel? You're all over the internet. People are begging for a Blade movie starring Wesley Snipes. It makes sense to me that these people are horrible, torch-bearing, mobs of racists who somehow also love Wesley Snipes.
Well, I'd say the nature of these fandoms is antithetical to that particular ideology, right? People want to see different characters from different backgrounds, with different mindsets, and yes, they even like to see different ideologies coming together. Right? Like, who doesn't love 70s Green Lantern, Green Arrow run, or even Green Arrow's constant disagreements with Batman? The X-Men, the sheer existence of the X-Men since Chris Claremont took over They explored every social issue imaginable, and these are properties that were celebrated, from Star Wars to Star Trek. Star Wars, and especially, listen, you're pretty much seeing infinite diversity on screen. Everybody speaks a different language, but everybody knows what the other person is saying. You've got wolfmen, you've got blue elephants. The people love. I don't know a Star Wars fan who does not like Lando Calrissian, or at least I should say the Billy D version. Like these old actors didn't have these issues, so why, when you really break it down logically and explore where we are as a society, there are undeniable markers that said the world is a better place than it was back then. Why is it so bad just for you guys when you guys make a bad movie? And I get it. You don't want to attack the people that are really responsible for it, because they will blacklist you and hurt you. But these fans will pick you up and they will keep you paid for eternity in the convention circuit. So, just use some common sense. We all know the Star Wars Holiday Special is one of the worst things ever put to film. These Ewok movies are not fantastic, but there is someone out there who holds them in deep reverence and will applaud your efforts as an actor simply because you were in it. That is the mindset of these fans. Even if we don't like it, we still love you for putting in the effort. So the need to constantly shun, shame, and blame, it is bizarre. It's bizarre, and it's emblematic of why studios like Lucasfilm continue to suffer the way they do, and are now well over a decade worth of misery for their content, which is why, frankly, this Gosling movie is going to be so important, because if they're going to have to blaze it, if there's any hope at blazing a path forward, you're going to have to embrace certain things that certain people don't want. You're going to have to hope that this inspires enough interest that you can get lapsed fans and apathetic fans to want to give it a shot. And frankly, that's where Star Wars is. It's in the apathy phase. No one cares anymore. No one wants to hear it. So and that's really where the root of my "is it too little, too late" is coming from. But they really got to hope, like pick a star and say what you got to say to whoever it is you need to say it to, that it is enough to pull at least enough people back that word of mouth may pull you out of the fire. But this nonsense, this isn't going to do it.
Kevin, 2 points on that, and man, oh man, was that awesome. Kevin, you said everybody likes Lando, and I agree, the old Lando, not the new Lando, because the new Lando, well, when he talks about the nuts and bolts of droids, he's not talking about repairs, and that's a problem. But 2, Kevin, I would say, why are they announcing this at Star Wars Celebration in Japan? Well, 1, because they'll get less backlash in Japan, and 2, they have to have something. They have to have anything that they can say if the Mandalorian Grogu movie fails. Well, Star Wars is not over. We have another thing in development. But you'll notice it's not attached to anything that they've ever done before, period. It is completely isolated, and that's so if Mando tanks, and we've seen the rest of the Disney Plus shows tank, and the sequel trilogy is tanked, it could not be a Rey movie, because they can't have anything else tanked. So they have to have something that's completely disassociated with everything before as the follow-up, so that they can assure investors. That's what this is about. And Kevin, I have no doubt, and I go into detail about this on the Patreon. Folks, this is my speculation, but it is common sense informed speculation. And I go way deeper on the Patreon, www.patreon.com/WDW Pro if you want to check it out. Kevin, the back-to-back stuff from Boyega and Kelly Marie Tran just ahead of this, I'm telling you, folks, my opinion is there's a coordinated effort from somebody, somewhere, to attack this film, because they don't want Lucasfilm to go near to what the fandom wants. Here it is out of that Park Place. It says, Ryan Gosling Star Wars movie Starfighter announced at Star Wars Celebration 2025 in Tokyo with Sean Levy directing. It says, if you were expecting Kathleen Kennedy to announce her retirement in front of Star Wars fans in Japan, think again. And folks, I have told you that now over and over. She's not going to announce her retirement in front of fans. They're not her people. In a major announcement at Star Wars Celebration 2025 in Tokyo, Lucasfilm revealed that acclaimed actor Ryan Gosling will headline a new standalone film titled Patty Jenkins' Stolen Script. No, I can't. Star Wars Starfighter. Star Wars Starfighter. That's going to be it. And I want to be real clear on this. Folks, go read the article. We recommend it. But Kevin, I'll be very clear on this as we get ready to wrap this conversation up. I don't know if this movie's going to be good, bad, ugly. Like Sean Levy, if he's left alone, and Ryan Gosling, if he gets to do what he wants to do, I think it could be okay. I think it could be better than okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a franchise that desperately needs it. And isolating this story from everything else, very wise, because everything else has failed, except for the original trilogy and the prequels. This is a failed effort. Now, you could claim Andor has had a good story, whatever. Nobody's watching it. So, pragmatically, it's failed. Lucasfilm has not had a hit outside of the 2 first seasons of The Mandalorian, which were Jon Favreau, and The Force Awakens. Now, folks out there can say, The Last Jedi was a financial win, so pragmatically, you got to count it to be consistent. And I say no, because I can look at The Last Jedi and say, what was the financial cost of the franchise over 10 years? And it's astronomical. It's in the billions of dollars in terms of loss. Kevin, I'll give you the final word on this. Where is Star Wars in terms of redemption? Can it even happen at this point? Or does it actually face a situation where fans are so infuriated by it that they'll boycott it, and maybe not organically, maybe not inorganically, but somehow, some way will they just say, I'm not going to the theater?
Listen, the worst thing any IP can face is indifference. And I think Star Wars is teetering on that edge. We can take a look at something like Skeleton Crew, which at the face of it was an okay show. It wasn't anything really offensive, but it did not resonate at all. Not with kids, not with parents, not with Disney adults. It just kind of came and went, like a whisper in the night. I do agree that I think the timing of this is probably symptomatic of old habits die hard at Lucasfilms. I do think there are some people who are probably not too happy that this last-ditch effort's being made because it's betraying everything that they stand for. But you have to. Disney has to take the swing. You cannot let this formerly evergreen property wither away and go the way of, let's say, a Buck Rogers. It's criminal. The too much money, too much time has been invested on Disney proper side. They have to fight as hard as they can. I don't think the movie needs to be a home run as much as I would like it to be, but they do need to be aiming for a double. They just got to get a double. You got to get something that's good enough that gets people going, it was okay. You got to feel good about it. The people like Ryan Gosling, he's a fantastic actor. He's got a lot of range. He does action really well. Levy is a very fun director too. So hopefully the politics gets put to the side. The nonsense and the interference is minimal at best, and they just allow people to make a choice. No actors with their social media whining and crying about stuff like this. No bombs in the trades. Just give this IP a chance to be great again, for lack of a better phrase.
Kevin. Viability. They've sunk the chances of this being ever considered the biggest franchise on the planet for the next 20 years. That's gone. Now the target must be viability. Yeah. Can this movie make $500 million? Because for a Star Wars movie, that's you got to have that to be able to satisfy the kind of budget that's required when you're doing sci-fi that is going to look like Star Wars must look to get on the screen. So if it can't make $500 million, this franchise isn't viable anymore as a theatrical cinematic experience. If they can do that, then okay, let's see what they can do to survive, to sustain. But at this point, Star Wars is in the ICU, and if the first surgery doesn't work, which is Mando and Grogu, they've got a backup plan. But I would say that's about it. If these two fail, Star Wars is done. All right, folks, we hope that you're not done. Click the like button, share, subscribe, click it, stick it to the algorithms. It is the notification bell. Drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts. And tell us, do you have any doubt about whether or not this will be a success, failure, or in between. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Folks, a shout out to Kevin Apollo. He is a superstar here on YouTube, and we love hearing him and having his opinions put out there. Let him know in the comments below what you think. And until the next time, happy Easter, folks. Keep learning, keep growing, find all the eggs, and keep having fun.
Hey everyone, I'm Wilton the Troll, and I got a really important PAS. I just feel it's important to take a moment to reflect on the current slate of Star Wars movie. I mean, we haven't had a woman take the lead on any Star Wars projects whatsoever in Star Wars yet. And that's partly because other women who are leading Star Wars, they don't want to let that happen, which totally isn't stereotypical of women. Am I right, ladies? And yes, it's time for a woman to lead Star Wars. I mean, saying that has totally worked in every other sphere of life, especially politics. Come on, Hillary Clinton, you tell them that it's time for a woman to smash that patriarchy. Anyway, that's all I have to say, and I think it's important for you to know that. Thank you.